When a millionaire's daughter seemed blind, the maid uncovered an incredible life-changing truth. Amelia stood frozen in the center of her opulent living room. Golden chandeliers glittered, and the plush, white carpet swallowed her footsteps. Outside, her luxury car sat gleaming in the sun, just waiting. But no one could see the chaos brewing inside her. She wore a perfect smile masking an emptiness that had turned heavy over the years. "You're so lucky," her friends would say, oblivious to the invisible weight of her father's expectations pressing down on her chest like 1,000 bricks. Just beyond the facade of designer clothes and perfect hair lay a profound sense of inadequacy, her perfect world shattered with a car accident that left Amelia temporarily blind. The darkness was profound, consuming her in a way that left her feeling more lost than ever. Every sound echoed in her mind, and every whisper of the wind felt like a reminder of her vulnerability. Little did she know that amid this turmoil, Sarah, the dedicated maid of her sprawling home, was about to rewrite both of their stories. Sarah came from rural Pennsylvania, a land of simple joys and hard work, and had dreamed of owning an art gallery since she was a child. In Amelia's world of privilege, she stood invisible, navigating life's challenges with grit and determination. But as she guided Amelia through her recovery, their worlds began to collide. Their conversations, soft as whispers at first, slowly took on a deeper resonance. At one touch point, Sarah helped Amelia paint again. The colors danced on the canvas, emerging from her blinded vision like memories breaking free. "You have a gift, Amelia," Sarah said slowly, her eyes sparkling with encouragement. Amelia felt warmth spread through her as she created something beautiful, something that felt like the essence of her true self. But would her father ever support this passion? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As their bond strengthened, Sarah started to see through Amelia's polished exterior. The elite world that surrounded them felt more hollow than ever as she watched Amelia struggle with her father's unrelenting plans for her future. Amelia grew restless. "I want to paint, Sarah. I want to create." She burst out one day, tears glossing her eyes. Sarah felt a tightness in her chest, for she sensed the weight of expectations about to crush Amelia's spirit. Just as they began to envision a future of art and freedom, Amelia's father discovered their friendship. "This is unacceptable," he spat, eyes narrowing. "You are to focus on what is expected of you, no art, no distractions." The threat hung heavy in the air, a black cloud of conflict looming over Amelia's newfound hope. In that moment, Sarah faced a gut-wrenching choice: stay loyal to the family that employed her or stand with Amelia, urging her to embrace her dreams. With uncertainty swirling between them, Amelia's heart raced. Would she stand up and fight for her passion, or would the suffocating grasp of privilege keep her trapped in a life she never wanted? As Sarah grasped Amelia's hand, a charged silence told their story, one of courage, art, and the unbreakable bond of two women from very different worlds. Amelia's heart thudded loudly in her chest, sharp and frantic. She could feel Sarah's hand tremble slightly in hers. The weight of her father's disapproval threatened to crush all the hopes they had begun to nurture. "Amelia, listen," Sarah's voice broke through the fog of distress. "This is your life. You have to decide what's right for you." The truth hung like a dark shadow above them. Could Amelia really defy her father? All her life, she had been the good daughter, the one who followed rules and upheld the family name. Yet, in this moment, everything was shifting beneath her. The boundaries of her world were expanding, breaking down in the light of her growing hopes. "I've always wanted to paint," Amelia whispered, fear clenching her gut. "But what if he cuts me off? What if he disowns me?" "Then we'll find a way," Sarah said fiercely. "You're not alone in this anymore. I can help you. You have a talent that needs to be seen. Amelia tried to steady her breath, focusing on the soft warmth of Sarah's palm against her skin. There was a strength in her touch that made Amelia feel safe, even in the face of uncertainty. I don't want to live in darkness, Sarah. I want to create. I want to feel alive, she said, her voice trembling. Sarah nodded, eyes shimmering with determination. Then let's take a step forward. Start painting again. Let's showcase your work, even if it's just to friends at first. You deserve to see how beautiful your art can be. Amelia closed her eyes for a moment, envisioning splashes of color filling the canvas, the excitement bubbling up within her. But doubt crept in like a thief in the night, whispering cruel reminders. What would her father think? Before Amelia could answer, they were interrupted by the sound of her father's booming voice, laced with irritation. Amelia! Get down here. We need to talk. A chill swept through Amelia as she exchanged a worried glance with Sarah. There was no time to process her thoughts. Suddenly, the comfort of their conversation felt like a distant dream. Panic gripped her heart as she descended the grand staircase, each step echoing with dread. What now? Amelia asked quietly, her composure starting to crack. Her father was standing in the study, arms crossed, a storm brewing in his eyes. You've been spending too much time with that maid, he said, tone clipped, as if accusing her of treason. I want you to drop this nonsense of painting and focus on your future, the one I arranged for you. But Dad, I don't want to hear it. He interrupted, his voice rising. You will go to that gala next week and meet the suitor I've chosen. End of discussion. The walls around Amelia felt like they were closing in. All her dreams, all her newfound passion threatened to evaporate under her father's suffocating expectations. As she stood frozen in place, Sarah's words echoed in her mind. What if she fought back? What if she made a choice for herself? When Amelia felt a flicker of courage ignite within her, she stole a glance at Sarah, who stood just outside the door. There was something in Sarah's eyes that urged her to take a leap of faith. Dad, Amelia began, her voice steadier than she felt. What if I don't want that life? Everything halted. The air crackled, pregnant with tension. Would she really say it? Would she fight for her right to choose her own path? The silence stretched, heavy and dangerous. And in that moment, Amelia felt her world shift once more. Would standing up for herself shatter everything she knew or lead her to the freedom she craved? As her father's eyes narrowed, she braced herself for the oncoming storm, determined to find out. Amelia's heart raced, pounding in her ears. Time seemed to stand still as her father stared her down, disbelief and anger mingling in his expression. The shadows in the room felt like they were stretching, darkening her resolve. What did you just say? Mr. Hargrove's voice was a low growl, but Amelia could hear the tremor beneath it, a flicker of uncertainty that ignited her courage. I said I don't want the life you planned for me. She declared, her words tumbling out like boulders rolling down a steep hill. I want to paint. I want to choose my own path. A quick glance at Sarah showed her standing just outside the study, her brows furrowed, eyes wide. Amelia knew that Sarah had taken a risk too, standing by her side. This was more than just a rebellion against her father, it was a declaration of independence, a silent promise they had both made to cherish their dreams despite the outcomes. You're being foolish. Her father's face contorted in a mix of shock and disbelief. This is beyond comprehension. You have a duty to our family, and you're throwing it all away for what? A childish fantasy? No. It's not just a fantasy. Amelia's voice rose, the anger fueling her conviction. Art is my passion. It's what makes me feel alive. I've spent too long chasing what you want instead of what I need. The air was thick, her father's disbelief palpable. He opened his mouth to reply, but Amelia pressed on, not willing to let this moment slip away. You think you know what's best for me, but you don't see me at all. You see an image, a reflection of what you want me to be, not who I truly am. Each word seemed to hang in the air, crackling with desperation. It felt like a crucial moment hanging on a precipice. Sarah's hand moved toward her heart, a gesture of encouragement, pulling Amelia's gaze. The support reminded her that she wasn't just fighting for herself, she was fighting for all the girls who had dreams but felt trapped in them. Hargrove's expression hardened, his eyes narrowing to slits. You will regret this, Amelia. You will wish you had listened. With those words, the room felt smaller, engulfing her in a whirlwind of fear. Regret. The word echoed in her mind like a drumbeat. But Amelia refused to back down. I'd rather regret standing up for myself than regret never trying, she said, trembling but firm. His voice boomed again, but this time it was tinged with something different, something that felt almost hollow. You'll be disowned if you choose this path. Amelia's heart sank at his threat, but she forced herself to keep breathing, placing her hands on her hips defiantly. Then I'll find my own way. I want to be more than just a pawn in your game. His expression cracked, and for the first time, she saw a flash of sadness in his eyes. A flicker of understanding. Maybe, just maybe, her father was struggling to let go of the dream he had built for her. But that wasn't going to be enough for Amelia. She needed freedom, not just permission. Fine, he said, his voice now edged with resignation. If that's your choice, then it's done. But don't ever expect my help again. The finality of his words struck her like a blow. While it felt like a loss, beneath that ache was a swell of exhilaration. She was now untethered, free to walk her own path. As Amelia turned to leave, she felt a rush of emotions flood her, a mixture of fear and exhilaration. This was the moment where her life would truly begin. Just remember, even in freedom, it can be lonely. Her father's voice tailed off into silence as she stepped forward, reclaiming her future. Once she was out of earshot, Sarah rushed to her side, eyes shining with pride. You did it, Amelia. You stood up for yourself. But even as they embraced, a lingering thought pressed against Amelia's conscience. What would it truly mean to be alone in the pursuit of her dreams? With every step away from the study, doubt crept back in. But amidst the uncertainty was a flicker of hope, a sense that perhaps this was the beginning of a vibrant, colorful journey. But what awaited her in this brave new world? Would it be everything she hoped for, or would the weight of her choices feel heavier than the chains she had just broken free from? The path stretched ahead, unclear and winding, beckoning her to discover what lay beyond. Amelia walked briskly, her heart pounding, each step taking her further from her father's imposing figure. Sarah stayed close, mirroring her nervous energy. It was as if they were riding the crest of a wave, unsure where it would crash. The bright sunlight of the afternoon felt intense against her skin, illuminating the path ahead. With every breath, freedom surged within her, mingling with the bitter remnants of yesterday. Wow, I can't believe you actually did it. Sarah exclaimed, her voice a blend of disbelief and excitement. Your dad? He looked shocked. Like you had just thrown a ton of bricks at him. Amelia snorted a laugh, though it felt strange. More like a boulder rolled right over him. But as the adrenaline faded, uncertainty pricked at her thoughts like thorns. Was that really okay? What if I just ruined everything? Stop. Sarah placed a hand on Amelia's shoulder, halting her. You fought for yourself. That's what matters. The conviction in Sarah's voice was a warm light, pulling Amelia back from the depths of doubt. I know, but Amelia looked down, tracing patterns on the gravel. I'm terrified. What does it even mean to be free when I could be lost without my father's support? Just the mention of support twisted Amelia's stomach. There was pain behind her father's anger, she understood that now. And yet, supporting his dreams had come at the cost of her own. Was freedom worth it if it meant walking alone? Sarah shifted closer, her eyes sharp with understanding. You were never meant to be just what he wanted. Think about it. What about opening your own studio? That's the kind of bold choice that could change everything. The thought ignited a spark deep within her. My own studio painting every day, teaching others. The imagined colors flooded her mind, bright and beautiful. Could she make a living doing what she loved? Yes. Sarah exclaimed. Let's take this leap together. We'll make it work. The idea filled her with warmth, but there was still that lingering doubt. But then she thought of all the times she de-sketched and painted when nobody else was around. The thrill of creating something from nothing, her emotions spilling onto the canvas. It filled her with a sensation unlike any other. You know, Amelia started, her voice catching with excitement. Maybe I can enroll in an art class or showcase my work somewhere local. If I start small, that's it. Sarah clapped her hands, her enthusiasm contagious. Start small, build up. You won't know unless you try. As the two girls wandered through the sunlit streets, Amelia felt a sense of purpose blossoming inside her. Yes, there would be challenges. Yes, there would be moments of doubt. But this felt right. She could embrace the unknown, each brush stroke guiding her along this new journey. With every twist and turn of the road ahead, Amelia felt the weight of expectations lifting from her shoulders. It was daunting, yes, but she was ready to take on whatever lay ahead. This was her life, a blank canvas waiting to be filled, but just as she began to lose herself in her dreams, a figure leaned against a nearby gate, arms crossed, observing them closely. Underneath their casual facade, the watchful eyes sent shivers down her spine. Amelia felt a sharp pull of uncertainty. Who were they? And how would they react to her choice? Before she could linger too long on the figure, Sarah nudged her arm. Hey, let's go find a coffee shop and brainstorm ideas. I'm feeling inspired. Amelia nodded, ready to nestle herself in the warmth of possibility, only to glance back. The figure was gone. But that fleeting curiosity nagged at her. What did their presence mean in this moment of change? Caught between her dreams and the shadows of her past, Amelia stepped ahead, ready for whatever life would bring, even if it meant uncovering secrets she never expected. As they entered the cozy coffee shop, the warm aromas enveloped them, pulling Amelia deeper into her thoughts. The walls were adorned with local art, each piece bursting with life. It reminded her of what she longed for, a space to express herself, to thrive. Amelia sank into a chair, her fingers sketching invisible shapes on the table. What if I fail, Sarah? What if nobody wants to see what I create? Panic flickered in her veins like a flame threatening to go out. We'll figure it out. You've got talent, I've seen it. Sarah said, her voice filled with unwavering support. Let's make a plan. We could start with an online showcase. Get the word out on social media. Think about it, people want to connect with real artists. Amelia's heart quickened at the idea. An online showcase, that's actually not bad. The thought of finally sharing her work with the world started to ignite that spark again. Just then, a waitress approached with 2 steaming mugs, her friendly smile brightening Amelia's mood even more. Sarah took the moment to push their ideas forward. Okay, how about we list out your favorite works? The ones that speak to you the most. Amelia nodded, closing her eyes as she conjured images of her creations. Each painting was a memory, a wild sunset bursting with oranges and pinks, a serene landscape whispering secrets of the woods, or a powerful portrait of a stranger whose spirit she tried to capture. Let's start with themes, Sarah pressed. What do you want people to feel when they see your art? The question hung in the air like a challenge. I want them to feel something real. Like they're not alone. I want my art to be a conversation. Her voice thickened with emotion, and she felt the words resonate deep within her. Yes. That's it. Sarah's eyes lit up, her excitement palpable. You want to build a community. Let's reach out to local artists. You'll be surprised how many would love to collaborate on something big. Amelia couldn't help but envision the kind of community Sarah described, a collective of creativity where everyone was welcomed. There was something beautiful about the thought of shared dreams intertwining. A giggle from a nearby table brought them back to the bustling cafe around them. Amelia felt a fleeting sense of belonging, but her mind raced back to the figure she'd seen earlier. Who were they? Did they have some connection to her past, or was it just a coincidence? The unease settled back in. "What's wrong?" Sarah asked, observing Amelia's sudden shift. "Remember that figure I saw in the street?" Amelia replied, her voice low. "I can't shake this feeling that they were watching us on purpose." "Maybe it was just someone curious about what you were doing," Sarah suggested, trying to inject lightness into the conversation. "You're about to step into the spotlight, it's normal for people to be interested." "Yeah," Amelia replied slowly, her thoughts swirling. "I guess. But something doesn't feel right." Sarah reached across the table, squeezing Amelia's hand. "Whatever it is, we'll tackle it together. Remember, it's a new beginning for you." Amelia nodded, appreciating the comfort of her friend's support. Just then, the door opened with a jingle. A familiar voice called out, and she turned to see her old art teacher, Ms. Daniels, stepping in. "Amelia. It's been ages. I was just thinking about you." The sudden warmth flooded Amelia with a mix of joy and anxiety. What did Ms. Daniels want? Would she see the change in Amelia? Amelia felt the world close in on her. Propelled by the unexpected reunion, uncertainty mingled with possibility. Was this the moment she'd been waiting for, a chance to embrace her dreams and leave the past behind? And as she stood to greet her teacher, another figure slipped into the cafe behind her, hidden in the crowd, scanning the room with intent. What secrets would this new turn of events reveal? "Ms. Daniels!" Amelia exclaimed, her heart fluttering with nostalgia. The world around her faded as they embraced, the weight of time lifting briefly. "How have you been?" Ms. Daniels asked, her eyes sparkling with genuine interest. Amelia could feel Sarah's supportive gaze behind her, urging her on. "Busy. But I've been working on some new pieces," Amelia replied, her voice steadier than she felt. Mentioning her art felt like dipping her toes back into a pool she'd long avoided. "Oh, I'd love to see them," Ms. Daniels said, tilting her head slightly. "You always had a way of capturing emotion. Are you still thinking of doing that showcase?" Amelia nodded, the mention of the showcase pulling her hopes and hesitations into sharper focus. "I'm trying. I just wonder if anyone will really care." "Of course they will." Ms. Daniels responded firmly. "Art speaks to people, and your voice has always carried a unique resonance. Don't underestimate your impact." The teacher's words stroked Amelia's insecurities, yet she still felt a twinge of doubt. She tried to push it aside. "Thank you," she managed to say, her voice trembling slightly. "It means a lot coming from you." The two exchanged a few more pleasantries when Amelia's eyes caught a flicker of movement. The figure she'd seen earlier was now standing toward the back of the cafe, a shadow among the vibrant colors of the cafe. With a hood drawn low and an intent gaze, they seemed out of place, and yet, unmistakably focused. "Hey, are you okay?" Sarah asked quietly, breaking Amelia's momentary distraction. I think I need to check something," Amelia stammered. Instinctively, she rose from her chair, driven by a pull she couldn't explain. "Wait. What is going on?" Sarah called after her, but Amelia was already weaving through tables, her heart pounding. As she navigated the crowd, the figure turned, and their eyes met hers. Amelia's breath caught. There was something hauntingly familiar about them. She swore she felt a stir of recognition, a thread from her past urging to be unraveled. Was it dangerous curiosity, or was there something deeper? "Who are you?" she managed to ask as she approached, a mix of anger and bewilderment surging through her. The figure hesitated before drawing back their hood. Amelia's heart raced as she found herself staring into the eyes of someone she once knew well. Someone she had lost touch with, lost in the void of time and regrets. Amelia, the figure whispered, a note of longing in their voice. It's been too long. Why have you been following me? She demanded, a mix of confusion and hurt swirling inside her. Not following. Watching over you, the figure replied, a hint of sincerity emerging outside their guarded demeanor. I had to see you again. There's so much you don't know. A weight settled over Amelia, thick and suffocating. The words left her reeling. What could they possibly mean? Behind her, Sarah stood, concern etched across her features. Amelia, we need to go back. Wait. Just give me a moment, Amelia cut in, her voice barely above a whisper, captivated by the figure's presence. Please. Just listen, they pleaded, their eyes glistening. There's something important I need to tell you. Something that could change everything. With each word, Amelia felt a mixture of apprehension and curiosity spiral within her. What truth could come from this unexpected reunion? What secrets were waiting to be unveiled? As the cafe buzzed around her, time seemed to stretch. She was standing on the brink of something that could alter her path forever, and dread mingled with anticipation. Could she allow herself to step into this unknown? And just outside the cafe doors, the world hummed with secrets yet to be uncovered. Was she ready to face them? Amelia's pulse raced as she stared into the familiar eyes. Memories swirled like autumn leaves tumbling in the wind. Each whisper of their shared history felt like a ghost, both comforting and haunting. What do you mean? I don't know. She asked, barely able to contain the tremor in her voice. The figure stepped closer, their expression earnest. You've been through so much, and I never had the chance to explain. I thought I was protecting you. Protecting me? Amelia felt a mix of anger and confusion bubbling inside her. You disappeared. You left without any explanation. Sarah's worried voice pulled at her consciousness. Amelia. We can talk later. This isn't safe, she urged, glancing around the cafe. The laughter and chatter seemed distant now, drowned out by the storm of emotion inside Amelia. I can't just walk away, Amelia said, shaking her head. Not after all this time. The figure reached for her, halting her as she drifted deeper into nostalgia and hurt. Please, just listen. There are things you need to know about your family, about your past. Her heart sank at the mention of family. What could you possibly know about my family? I know about your father, they said softly. And what really happened all those years ago? Amelia's breath hitched. The quiet conversations she eavesdropped on her mother having after too many glasses of wine, the nights woven together with tears and muted breath. She felt exposed, vulnerable. Why should I believe you? Because I care, the figure replied, their voice growing more intense. Because I never stopped caring. Emotions crashed over Amelia like waves against the shore. Part of her wanted to slam the door on this reunion. To turn back to the safety of her routine, to the comforting predictability of her art, which no longer felt like an escape but a reminder. Yet another part, a more daring part, inched forward, drawn into the wreckage of what could be an uncharted territory. I need to know. The words escaped her lips almost without her permission. What do you know about my father? The figure's gaze softened, a lock of sorrow twisting through their expression. He wasn't the man you thought he was. There are truths hidden beneath layers. The accident, it wasn't just an accident, Amelia. It was much more complicated than that. Silence enveloped the two of them as they stood in that bustling cafe, surrounded by laughter and warmth, yet suspended on a precipice of unresolved pain. Shadows flickered through the window, and Amelia felt gravity pulling her down into the depths of old grief, secrets, and the weight of love lost. What do you mean? What really happened? She pressed, urgency flooding her questioning. Before the figure could speak, a sudden crash echoed from outside, followed by a flurry of voices. Amelia turned her head instinctively, adrenaline surging within her. The commotion felt sudden, breaking her focus, stealing her breath. And when she turned back, the figure was gone, melted back into the world from which they de-emerged. Amelia. Sarah's voice pierced through the haze of confusion. What just happened? She felt numb, still grappling with the remnants of a fleeting moment that might have held the key to everything she thought she knew. I don't know, Amelia stammered, the world spinning around her as she glanced toward the door, her mind racing. But deep down, Amelia felt the stirrings of something that had long been dormant within her, a sense of destiny, whether she was ready for it or not. As the crowd outside surged and she felt urgency pressing against her heart, Amelia knew one thing for certain: this wasn't over. What lay ahead could reshape her entire life, and then a flicker caught her eye, the figures were peeking back around the corner. Had she truly seen the last of them? Or was there still time to uncover the truth hidden beneath the secrets of her past? Adrenaline still coursed through Amelia as she stood frozen, half wondering if she had imagined the whole encounter. The noise outside continued to rise and fall, but now felt like a muffled echo, swallowed by her anxious thoughts. What truths had the figure referred to? And why did they suddenly vanish, as if they were a mirage crafted from her own pain and longing? Amelia, come on. Sarah tugged at her arm, pulling her back into the present. We need to get out of here before whatever that was escalates. Amelia nodded, a swirl of emotions filling her chest: fear, dread, and a flicker of hope. As they hurried to the exit, she could feel the weight of uncertainty pressing down on her. Questions bubbled like a boiling pot in her mind. What could this mean for her? Outside, the late afternoon sun struggled to break through a thick layer of clouds. People rushed past her, their faces blurred with worry and curiosity. Amelia's heart raced, caught between a desire to run and a desperate urge to confront the truth that had eluded her for so long. Wait. She pulled away from Sarah and glanced over her shoulder, scanning the poor visibility crowd just in case she could spot that distinctive hood again. Nothing. Just strangers moving briskly, oblivious to the storm raging inside her. Amelia, please. Sarah's voice scraped against the urgency of the moment. I just need to know. Amelia's words slipped out, laced with a vulnerability she hadn't meant to reveal. If what they said is true, about my father, I can't just ignore it. Do you want to confront a ghost? A past that abandoned you? Sarah asked, her eyes wide with concern. You have your life here, your art. You don't have to dive into this dark void. But Amelia felt tethered to this moment, a silent agreement with fate whispering in her ear. I can't go back to how it was. Not anymore. They moved further away from the cafe, closer to the streets humming with life, but Amelia's thoughts remained tangled. The figure's words echoed over and over. They were supposed to protect her, yet secrets buried deep in her family's history were waiting to surface. She could almost feel them breathing, restless beneath layers of time and silence. Listen, Sarah's voice was calmer now, coaxing. I understand you're hurting, but what if you find something you're not ready for? What if your father was as flawed as they hinted? A pang struck Amelia, a fierce echo of betrayal mixed with a longing to know more. She took a deep breath, steadying herself. Then I'd rather face the truth than live a lie. Without realizing it, they found themselves standing in front of a small bookshop. Its windows were fogged, the shelves clearly visible from the outside layered with tomes that promised adventure and enlightenment. Amelia instinctively stepped forward, drawn to the rows and rows of stories waiting to be uncovered. What are you doing? Sarah asked, perplexed. I need answers, Sarah. Amelia squared her shoulders, brushing away doubts. Maybe I can find something here. Something that connects the dots. Are you sure you're ready? Sarah's question hung in the air, heavy with unspoken fears. Ready or not, I can't run from this. Amelia pushed the door open, the faint chime of bells announcing their arrival as they stepped into the dim, cozy space filled with the scent of aging paper and ink. Inside, shadows danced along the shelves, illuminated by soft lighting. Amelia's heartbeat composed a soft drum rhythm in her ears, an anthem for the exploration that awaited her. With every step deeper into the maze of stories, she felt something shift within her. Here lay not just forgotten tales, but potentially the missing pieces of her own life. Would she discover the truth that had stayed hidden for so long? As she meandered down the aisles, a gentle touch brushed against her arm. She turned, finding an elderly woman with kind, knowing eyes. "Looking for something special?" the woman asked, her voice smooth and inviting. Amelia hesitated. "I'm searching for answers about my family. About my past." The woman smiled softly, as if she understood the weight that sat on Amelia's shoulders. "Sometimes, we must delve into the past to uncover what is truly ours." With those words, a flicker of hope ignited deep within Amelia. What if this woman could help unravel the unexpected truth? Would she lead her to answers that might change everything? And as the universe seemed to shift just slightly for a moment, Amelia held her breath, ready for whatever revelation awaited her in the curated chaos of the shelves. "Amelia, are you ready?" The woman's voice took on an intriguing lilt, almost mischievous. "What do you know?" Amelia leaned in, hunger for discovery tinged with trepidation. The woman's gaze deepened. "Let's just say the past has a way of catching up with us if we're willing to listen." That one sentence held the promise of so much more, and Amelia felt the pull to uncover it. What truths lay waiting to be unveiled? Amelia's heart raced as she absorbed the woman's words. The past catching up. What did that even mean? It sent shivers down her spine, a mix of excitement and apprehension swirling within her. The old woman leaned closer, her voice barely above a whisper. "There are record stories about your family. Some may not be what you expect." Her knowing gaze searched Amelia's face, as if weighing her readiness to confront whatever truths lay ahead. "Records?" Amelia echoed, feeling electricity course through her, tugging her deeper into this moment. "Where can I find them?" "Not just any records," the woman said, her fingers trailing along the spines of the books. "These are hidden treasures, layered between tales of old. Only those truly seeking can unearth them." Amelia felt a mixture of determination and doubt. What if it leads to heartbreak? What if my father wasn't he who I thought he was? "Heartbreak can be a heavy burden, dear," the woman replied gently. "But sometimes, knowing is lighter than living in darkness. Only you can decide which burden to carry." Amelia clenched her fists, fighting the onslaught of emotions. She'd lived in shadows for too long. Concealed truths gnawed at her, like gnawing dogs at her heels. "I want the truth," she said firmly, her voice imbued with newfound strength. "No more hiding." The woman studied her for a moment, then nodded, her expression softening. "Very well. Follow me." Leading Amelia deeper into the shop, they passed rows upon rows of forgotten lore, stories ripe for the picking. The ambience shifted from cozy to mysterious, the dim light casting long shadows that seemed to dance in tandem with Amelia's racing thoughts. They entered a small room tucked in the back. Dust motes floated in the air, swirling around a hefty oak table cluttered with aged books and leather-bound journals. The scent of old paper engulfed them, a testament to wisdom and forgotten tales. Here the woman gestured to a large tome, its cover embossed with intricate designs. "This book contains stories of those who walked the same streets as you, who faced their own shadows." Amelia approached the book, her heartbeat quickening. "Is there something about my father in there?" "Perhaps." The woman smiled mysteriously. "But remember, the truth comes with a price. You must be willing to look beyond the surface." Amelia reached out, her fingers brushing against the cool cover. She hesitated, the weight of anticipation filling the room. "What will I find? Answers or more questions?" Knowledge has a tendency to complicate things. Taking a deep breath, she opened the book. The pages were filled with stories, names, dates, events, each a thread in the tapestry of her family history. As she flipped through, something pulled at her heart, a name familiar yet distant. "What is this?" She pointed to a passage, suddenly feeling the air thicken around them as the words revealed a connection she hadn't anticipated. The woman leaned closer, her voice low. "That, my dear, is where the shadows become more intriguing and where you might find what you are truly searching for." The revelation hung in the air like a fine mist. Amelia zoomed in on the words, her hands shaking. Could this be it? The moment everything changed. Amelia Sarah's hesitant voice broke her concentration. "Are you okay? This place feels heavy." Amelia nodded slowly, her mind racing even faster than before. "No, it's not just heavy, it's foreboding. But I need to know more." The elderly woman studied her again, a spark of pride lighting her eyes. "You are stronger than you realize, you'll face whatever comes next with grace." As Amelia turned another page, a chilling truth revealed itself, a truth that threatened to shatter the very foundation of everything she thought she knew. "Look at this," she whispered, astonished, piecing together a hidden past that felt more real by the second. There it was, the name of a family she never thought could intertwine with her own, a distant lineage that tied her to a world she had never known. But just as hope bubbled within her heart, the woman leaned back, a worried glance flashing across her face. "Sometimes, knowing too much can become a heavy burden," she cautioned. "Are you truly ready to bear it?" Amelia held the book close, feeling an undeniable weight settling on her chest. "Ready or not, I have to follow this path." And as she looked deeper into the pages, wonder mingled with dread. The past was emerging, what was waiting for her at the end. "Then let us see how deep this rabbit hole goes." The elderly woman's smile cracked with an enigmatic allure, sending a shiver down Amelia's spine. Each word she read drew her down a darker path than she had ever imagined. Would she emerge on the other side, forever changed? Or would these revelations drag her into a life she wasn't prepared for? With her heart in her throat, Amelia turned the page, eager to discover the truth but fearing the risks that came with it. What awaited her there was still a mystery, shrouded in whispers of the past that promised to resonate through her future. Little did she know, the deeper she went, the more lives would intertwine and the more profound the truths would become. What would she do with that knowledge once it was hers? Amelia felt a nervous tremor race through her as she confronted the deeper layers of her family history laid bare before her. Each word in the book stretched the boundaries of her world, tugging her closer to the truth she had sought for so long. Just beyond the fragile covers lay the key that could unlock doors to the unknown, revealing secrets of her father, her family, perhaps even herself. As she flipped through the pages, time seemed to halt. The air thickened with anticipation, and for every name she read, every connection uncovered, she sensed echoes of the past whispering, "This is your legacy." The fleeting thought of her father's disapproval felt small against the monumental gravity of her discoveries. "Look here, Amelia." The elderly woman's voice drifted in, breaking through her reverie, as she pointed to a passage. There it was, a name that fluttered in Amelia's heart with an inexplicable sense of familiarity. It was a name tangled in her childhood dreams, a name she had heard murmured beneath the whispers of her mother's tears. "What does this mean?" Amelia's voice trembled as she leaned closer, fear clawing at her heart, mingled with an intense desire to know. "It means you have much to uncover about your family," the woman said softly, her eyes shimmering with wisdom. "And this journey, dear, may not be easy, but nothing worthwhile ever is." Feeling the weight of the words settle deep within her, Amelia steadied her breath. This was not just her journey anymore, it was a bridge between the artist she wanted to be and the daughter she had always been. "I need to know why had he kept everything hidden?" "Only the brave seek the truth, Amelia. But remember, sometimes knowing the truth can force us to face our own demons." With those words echoing in her mind, a new determination ignited within her. She was no longer just the sheltered daughter of a wealthy family, she was Amelia, a woman ready to claim her own narrative. She would forge her path, one filled with color and honesty, and perhaps some heartache. "Let us dig deeper," she decided. "Let us reveal this truth, even if it shatters everything I used to believe." Suddenly, a loud crash outside shattered the quiet of the bookshop, causing Amelia and the elderly woman to flinch. The door burst open, and Sarah rushed in, worry etching her features. "Amelia. You're okay, right?" she asked, her urgency palpable. "I'm fine, just exploring," Amelia replied, though she could sense the worry lurking in Sarah's eyes. "But you'll want to hear this." Sarah nodded, stepping beside her, still grasping the reality of what lay ahead. "Whatever it is, we're in this together." And with that steadying presence beside her, Amelia felt the knots of anxiety loosen in her chest. If she was to confront ghosts from her past, she wouldn't do it alone. They would face it side by side. "Let us see what's hidden beneath these layers," Amelia said, her voice steady and resolute. As she turned the page again, it was time to bring the past into the light. With each sentence she read aloud, she felt strength surging within. The shadows didn't have to define her. But just outside, the commotion continued, echoes of frustration and fear. "We need to go out there," Sarah urged, her voice an anchor amidst the storm. "Help those in need." Amelia felt torn, her heart heavy with the pull of numerous responsibilities. She could feel her resolve solidifying. "No. This is a moment of truth. I need to know. And then, we will help." As the words settled in the atmosphere, the elderly woman placed her hand on Amelia's arm, drawing her focus back to the present. "You are starting something bigger than just discovering truths. This is a transformation. Embrace it. Let it shape you." And as Amelia's eyes scanned the lines full of revelations, an astonishing realization gripped her heart. The legacy of her family lay not merely in wealth but in the tapestry of stories woven through generations. What if her choices created a new branch in the family tree, a new legacy? Just then, the bell jingled and a familiar figure walked through the door. The figure that had haunted her thoughts. It was the person she had once considered lost forever. The tension in the air buzzed, crackling with the potential for answers, revelations, or heartbreak. With her heart pounding in rhythm with the reality of her choice, Amelia raised her chin and met the eyes of that familiar face. "What do you have to tell me?" she demanded. The figure stepped closer, their expression a mixture of longing and urgency. "Amelia, we need to talk. There's more to the story. It's time for the truth to be revealed." In that moment, amidst the darkness of uncertainty, she felt the flicker of a new beginning, a chance to reclaim her narrative. This was it. No more running. No more hiding. It was time to forge a path of her making. Together, with her trusted friend, she would uncover layers of truth, confronting not just the shadowy outlines of a family history but stepping towards a sunlit future, vibrant with possibility. And through it all, her art awaited a bright fire of expression and freedom, ready to be embraced. And so, as the world outside erupted around them, Amelia stood empowered. Unafraid to plunge into the unknown, she took a step forward, ready to embrace every color, every brushstroke that lay ahead. This was her life to live, and she was more than ready. Now the journey awaited. It was time to share this transformation with others. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe now and don't wait not even one more second to share. True fans know the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.